Welcome back. Well, night 3 of the Republican National Convention in the books. Vice President Mike Pence officially accepting the nomination as vice president for a second term. The VP also with key Republican speakers touting the Trump administration's record, making a case for re-election.
In our first 3 years, we built the greatest economy in the world. We made America great again. You won't be safe in Joe Biden's America. We will always stand with those who stand on the thin blue line, and we're not going to defund the police, not now, not ever.
What I learned about our president is different than what you might have heard. I learned that he's a good man, that he loves his family, that he didn't need this job, that no one on earth works harder for the American people.
President Trump and Vice President Pence have lifted Americans, provided them with dignity, opportunity, and results. This is the man I know and the president we need for 4 more years.
Be a radical for freedom. Be a radical for liberty. And be a radical for our republic, for which I stand.
President Trump will wrap up the final night of the RNC tonight, officially accepting the GOP nomination. Here is a look at some of the speakers coming up tonight. Joining me first is Florida Congressman, Army Lieutenant Colonel, and Green Beret and House Armed Services Committee member Michael Waltz. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. First, let's talk about the convention. Do you think that the principles of the Republican Party are coming out in this convention? What's resonated to you most?
Well, it was wonderful to hear last night a celebration of American greatness. The theme was a land of heroes. To hear my brothers and sisters in uniform celebrated, and that's not just in military uniform, that's those out there in blue keeping our communities safe as well, was truly fantastic. And, you know, the other thing that was amazing to hear, Maria, was just a list of accomplishments, particularly, which we did not hear with the Democrats at all, on the foreign policy side. And I think there's a reason Joe Biden's not talking about it on the foreign policy side. I was downrange overseas when we had the trade for Berghdal, when we had Syria descending into chaos, the rise of ISIS, attacks around the world, Russia on the march in Crimea and Ukraine, and China on the march in the South China Sea, and the rise of China under the Biden-Obama regime, which Biden just this week is repeatedly quoting the communist founder in Mao, still saying the rise of China is a good thing, not calling them out for the cover-up. And this is all, as you've reported, his son Hunter is in an equity deal with the Chinese Communist Party. So, look, this was not only talking about real policy accomplishments and hearing about it from everyday Americans, but looking forward to what they're going to continue the next 4 years. And it's a positive vision despite despite all the obstacles that this president's faced.
So let me ask you more about U.S.-China tensions, because China launched 2 missiles in the South China Sea yesterday in a warning to the United States. This after the U.S. sanctioned 24 Chinese-owned companies in the region. Beijing not letting up on its territorial dispute. Even Senator Marsha Blackburn slammed Joe Biden's record on China at the RNC last night. Here's what Marsha Blackburn said.
If the Democrats had their way, they would keep you locked in your house until you become dependent on the government for everything. That sounds a lot like communist China to me. Maybe that's why Joe Biden is so soft on them. Why Nancy Pelosi says that China would prefer Joe Biden. Yep, I bet they would.
How concerned are you about China and these missiles last night, Congressman? I mean, we know that they have been overreaching on a number of territories.
China right now is conducting exercises for the first time ever in the South China Sea, the East China Sea, and the Yellow Sea. The United States Navy, under the leadership of the president, is challenging them for the first time in a decade. And what the Chinese aren't happy about is we put some surveillance over what they're doing. Taiwan right now is incredibly nervous, as they should be, watching what just happened to Hong Kong. And in response, China launched 2 missiles that they call carrier killers. That's what the Chinese media is calling them, missiles designed to take down our aircraft carriers. Look, at the end of the day, we are in a posture where we have to challenge the Chinese Communist Party on every front, on equity markets, in sanctioning their leaders, sanctioning their businesses, and also militarily as well, because if we do not stop them now, in Chairman Xi's own words, they will call the shots and the United States will not, and they will create economic dependencies around the world, from rare earth minerals to protective equipment to pharmaceuticals.